Hello YouTube, hello TikTok, how are we going? Here is my daily live. I was going to record a podcast episode, but as you can see, I'm a little bit more dressed up than I usually am for a live. And I thought I would just go live instead of recording a podcast episode because I'm feeling in the vibe of it. I just have something on my mind that I've really been discussing this week in my mastermind, Mastermind. And it's about putting yourself first. So if you're watching this, you're a high achiever and you probably struggle to put yourself first. You probably find it selfish. You probably, even with the times where you do put yourself first, and this can be in different forms of like a boundary. It can be in doing something for yourself, investing in yourself, which we're going to go into. But let me know if you're watching here on YouTube, hello to everyone, and you're watching here on TikTok, hello. If you find it hard to put yourself first, if you struggle to do that, if you kind of label it as a perceived bad thing and like it's something that you're not worthy of and something to feel guilty of. And I was having this discussion with my masterminders because what I want you to start to think is how can you start investing in yourself? And I don't necessarily mean you need to be spending money on yourself. I think especially in the industry that I am, mindset and business coaching, I think a lot of women, because my niche, who I work with, are high achieving women. I think sometimes I think investing in yourself comes at a cost, like a financial cost, and this isn't always the case. Investing in yourself, I want you to start to relate it to how can I put myself first? What are the things that I can start to do in my daily life? You don't even need to think long term, but in my daily life, that is going to be an investment into myself to help where I'm at. If you're watching this and you'll continue to watch this, then you're a high achiever. You're someone, you have big ambitions for your life. You have big dreams, big desires. You have a vision board, right? I'm not in my office, but I would show you my vision board, but you're someone, you have a vision for the future, right? And you know what you want. Sometimes you probably think you don't know how to get it. Sometimes you feel it's too overwhelming. Maybe you're in this like burnout work cycle where you feel like if you work harder, if you do things more, if you add more to your rituals and your routines and your plate, then you're going to gain more success, whether that success is monetary, whether it's status, or whether it is relationship, health, whatever it may be. But I'm here to tell you that no success can be achieved, and always defining what your version of success is. This is what I teach my masterminders. But it comes back to how am I actually investing in myself, which I want you to correlate with putting myself first. Again, if you're just joining, investing in yourself doesn't necessarily mean I look young, thank you. I'm going to take that as a compliment. I'm in my 30s, but thank you. But I think why we struggle as high achievers to put ourselves first is because we're so used to putting everyone else first. We're so used to being able to be the nurturer, be the carer. And again, this isn't about being a woman or whatever. It's just like as high achievers, this is what we do. And then we think we need to work really, really hard for our own dreams. Have you ever helped someone that you love or you care about kind of succeed at their own dreams, or like put them on the right pathway for their own dreams? And it's like, even though it may take time and effort and energy, it still kind of feels like this effortless thing. But for your own dreams, you're stuck in this cycle where you're working really hard, then you get burnt out and you're burnt out. So you think, okay, I'm just going to push through this work more, and you burn out. And it's like this forever cycle. And you think they're in the middle. Like if you imagine this cycle as a circle, and in the middle is is keeping you going in this. If you're watching this as well, and I'm going to bring this all together to the starting topic, but if you're watching this too and you're in these cycles of burnout, frustration, you get to the end of the week and you're just feeling absolutely depleted physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, but you are like, why do I keep repeating this cycle? Why do I keep doing this? It's because in this cycle, you do see some reward, you do see some gain. There is always a benefit in the things that you are perceiving as unhelpful or negative or bad. Again, everything's a perception. So what you perceive as bad, good, ugly, beautiful is a different perception to someone else. And so one thing, and I'm going to kind of like jump back and forth with a few concepts that I share with my masterminders. All the details for the mastermind, by the way, are in the show notes below. Over on TikTok, it's in my link in bio. But one thing that I share is a lot of people get super frustrated when they're in a perceived bad pattern, right? And whether it's the burnout pattern, working really hard, self sabotaging, constant procrastination, it's like you have these. The things with high achievers is we have such big ambitions, but sometimes the big ambition is the thing that just gives us the dopamine hit, and we actually don't achieve those ambitions. We don't move the needle forward. So something to start to think about is, how am I moving the needle forward towards my ambitions, rather than using that vision board or what I'm writing in my journal or the affirmations of saying like I'm rich or I have the mansion or I have a six-figure business. Instead of using those as dopamine hits, we get addicted. Sorry, we get addicted to those dopamine hits, and so we don't actually do anything. And so go looping back to what I just said is, in a perceived bad cycle or pattern of behavior, you are benefiting from it in some way, shape, or form. And maybe you're thinking, Jess, what do you mean I'm benefiting from it? Like, I don't want to be in this cycle. I don't want to be in this pattern of behavior. Like, it's bad for me. I'm not achieving the business of my dreams. I'm not getting that promotion at work. I'm not attracting my ideal relationship. I don't have the money in my bank account. I don't have the car that's been on my vision board for 6 years. We don't do something unless there's a benefit for us. We don't do something unless our values are driven in it. Again, it's like, well, I value money, yet I'm struggling to save and I'm struggling to do this and that with my money and invest or whatever. No, you have a value somewhere in spending money or whatever you do with the money, right? And the way you get rid of it instead of saving it, as an example, right? It's not the only example, it's just one I give now. And so you need to, the first step in all of this, if we loop exactly back to what this entire life is about, of it's not selfish to put yourself first, but putting yourself first means investing in yourself. Again, it doesn't have to be monetary, but you need to start to shine a light, the blind spots. And this is really what I work closely with my masterminds and my one-on-ones with, is what are the blind spots? Like if I had a spotlight and I was speaking to a woman, like I can just point out their blind spots, lost the word for a second. Those blind spots are the benefits and why you keep doing the same thing, why you keep procrastinating, why you say you're going to start a business and always find an excuse not to, why you say you're going to start a new hobby or playing group sport and then it's been 6 months and you still haven't started, why you say you're going to leave that job but you always find a reason not to. There is always a benefit in your cycles, and that is the first place that I want you to start. The people who do this work, this is work I give my mastermind is like, for lack of a better word, it works. And so even pausing this video and write down your actual cycle, draw it out. I'm a very visual person. I definitely prefer to draw things out like an actual cycle, but if you want to write it, there's no right or wrong. And then start to explore, well, how do I benefit from this? How do I benefit from staying the same? How do I benefit from procrastinating, starting a business or quitting my job or whatever it may be? And then when you start to realize that, we can start to reverse engineer. We start to understand the moment we get into these cycles, the moment we are doing ourselves a disservice, and where all the holes are in our life that we're not putting ourselves first. Because of a lot of this, again, we learn it's bad to put ourselves first. It's bad to invest money in ourselves. It's bad to invest time and energy or to change my routine. Right? Maybe you have been in a relationship and you both work 9 to 5, but for the past year, you have wanted to start a business. But you feel bad because your partner and you are so used to you doing a 9 to 5. And so you don't start it. And it's like that. And you're like, well, it's for the good of the relationship. Well, what's for the good of you? And that's a whole other topic about relationships and fair exchange. But really, the point and the value that I want to drive home in this live mini training is, how can you be more selfish? How can you invest more time and energy and money? And like just the whole like expansion of self. That's where I'm really trying to get it. Like, how can you expand yourself to benefit yourself first? And everything is a flow on effect. Drink break. The moment you start to put yourself first and you start to actually operate in a way like you really love and truly care about yourself, everything is through self-love. If you are doing, let me tell you something. If you're doing all the things, this is one of my one-on-ones that came to me 18 months ago. 18? Yeah, just under 18 months ago. If you were doing absolutely everything, I mean everything. You have a good routine. You are working on your purpose. You are working on your purpose. You are, you've got the manifestation routine. You're making a good income. You're maybe attracted a relationship, or you're, in a good place in your dating. Health is good. Like everything seems aligned, but you're not yet up leveling. Like you're not yet upgrading. Things are just as they are. Like they're not bad, they're good, but they could be better. And it's not just like, oh, they could be better. It's like you want better. You have this desire, you have this vision to be better. Something in my mastermind, Will Mastery, is all about like, how can you become the leader of your life? But if you, going back to what I was saying, if everything is kind of lining up, but it's like, I'm still just not getting the upgrade. I'm still not getting the up level that I desire. It's a lack of self-love. And I know that a lot of people are going to hear this and be like, that's such a cliche answer, or like, duh. But it's like, okay, are you actually working on that? Is that something that you're actually working through? Is that something that you're actually focusing on when it comes to self-love? Part of self-love is putting yourself first, is investing in yourself, is building up your self-trust. I always say, if you don't have self-trust, you're never going to back yourself. If you can't back yourself, what do you have if you can't back yourself? You're going to constantly be relying on the backing of other people, the validation of other people. And so if you absolutely, and maybe you've invested in a coach, or you have one right now, and you're listening to this, you're like, I'm doing everything. Like I'm doing everything. The 3 phases that I go through my mastermind are subconscious reprogramming, identity shifting, and regulating to a new capacity. If you're doing all of those, you've got into a good routine and it's down pat, but you're still not upgrading, or it still feels like you're doing everything and the thing you want is still over here, over here, over here, look into it. Like, how much do you actually love yourself? How much do you actually trust yourself? How much do you actually lead your life? Or is everything on this good autopilot, as I say, and it's just going, it's moving forward? And I think that a lot of people would be very, very shocked if they answered that honestly, of if they actually have a deep-seated self-love, deep-rooted self-love, and a self-trust, and a leader. And if you're not becoming the leader of your life, then you're just basically like this extra in a movie. You're not the main character. There was a big, what do you call it, trend on TikTok, probably still is a trend, like last year, about, acting like the main character in your life. There is so much truth in that. Because if you're not, then like what are you doing? And this, again, I'm speaking to my high achievers. You guys have ambition. You guys have dreams and desire. I'm not speaking to you if you are just like, you don't have goals, you can't be fucked, and like all it. No, like I'm not, probably shouldn't swear on YouTube. I'm gonna get flagged. But I'm speaking to like those of you, you have that vision board, you have that goal, you're working on yourself, you've been doing the work, you're driven. These are the women that I work with. You're driven. But you still can lack self-love. You can still lack being able to trust yourself and investing in yourself. And so what I want you to take away from this is, how are you from today investing in yourself? How are you investing in you and your growth? And again, it does not have to be, here, let me pay some money to a coach or a mentor or whatever. It does not have to be like that. I mean, the time and the energy and the spaciousness and the expansion. Yesterday I did a live. If you're watching on TikTok, I highly recommend watching it on YouTube. Going onto YouTube, my TikTokers, and the live, I think, was called How to Live a Life of Ease. It was posted on April 13th. And I speak about spaciousness versus spaciousness and expansion versus restriction and constriction. And most people live this life of constriction, and they're like this, instead of open up and expansion, because they're not leading their lives, they're not trusting themselves, they're not investing in themselves, they're not investing in their growth. You can know, like every self-help book, personal development book, every type of EFT tapping, visualization, meditation, NLP technique, like you can know it all, but if it's not rooted in your own self-love, your own self-trust, and your own leadership, it's not going to get you very far. So from today, what I want you to take away is like, write a list. How can you invest in yourself? Because I promise you right now, if you're watching this and you're resonating and you're feeling deep in your soul that you're ready to up-level your life, you're ready to upgrade, you're ready to do something different, but nothing is changing and you've been trying, You need to start here. You need to start and write this list. And most people aren't going to write this list. Most people are going to click off this and be like, yeah, whatever. Good pep talk. But the women that are watching and that do this, I promise you, you are going to see a change. And it's not just writing down a list and thinking, whoa, that's all good. No, it's writing down the list and taking the messy, inspired action every single day. Everyone talks about quantum leaps. I don't know. I don't really believe in a quantum leap. I believe in a quantum compound. You're compounding the 1% of messy, inspired action. And then all of a sudden you get to this point and everything feels effortless and easy. So it feels like a quantum leap. And yeah, it can be some form of quantum leap if you zoom out, but you've done all the quantum compounds, the 1% of messy inspired action, and you get to that point and it's like, wow, this is really easy. Like, look at all the progress you've made now and look back to like 5 years time and things you've done and things you would do. Like, it's probably easy. For example, like when I quit my job and I moved to Bali to start this business in 2019, it was scary for me at the start. I'd never done anything like that. Now, if my partner asked me to move to another country tomorrow, it'd be like a yes in a heartbeat. And see, like, you expand your capacity, you make these content compounds and it becomes your normal, right? If you like creating a new life, you need to create it to be normal and neutral. That's a whole other live. I might do a live about that tomorrow, but I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna leave you all with this like little, yes, it is a pep talk, but also something that you can tangibly do is like, okay, how can I start investing time, energy, money, effort into myself and putting me first and being able to realize I am first and it is important that I put myself first and I am doing the things for myself. And if you have any questions, any ideas for lives you want me to speak about, or even podcast episodes on YouTube, here I post all of my podcast episodes on video form here on YouTube. And also, if you're watching on TikTok, you can go listen to it. It's just link in bio, or details for my mastermind as well, link in bio. But any suggestions or anything you want me to talk about, definitely let me know. I appreciate every single one of you that have watched live, every single one of you that have watched the replay. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon, YouTube. And I'll